James and I literally flew in the plane last night. What time did we get in? Like 9:30 in the morning. 9:30 last night. 9:30 last night. Yeah. So New York City's a wild place, guys. I know a lot of you have been there.
My God.
I'd only been through there. Okay, I never stayed any days there. James is the same way, so we got to spend 3 days in New York City. It's pretty crazy. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
We had a blast.
We had a blast. No, we had an absolute blast. But the subway is crazy. Oh. James was my bodyguard and chauffeur.
And Cindy.
And yeah, his wife. It was amazing. I literally stood between James and Cindy the whole time I was there. It was amazing. It was the one time I didn't have to think about where I was going, what I was doing. I felt protected and safe.
Well, we only got turned around once. It's not bad.
It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. But the first question we got from Brent was about the different new Apex weight irons, okay? And he wants to know about turf interaction, compare the two irons in the Fusion, and then talk about turf interaction. Now, I will tell you right now that we don't have a TI Fusion iron here. We can show you a picture of it. We literally haven't got them in our hand yet. No. We hit them in New York. We got to see them, we got to test them, we got to see all the literature about them.
They are very nice.
They're very nice, but we're going to talk about them now, okay? So James is going to talk about basically the question is, what's the difference between the three and between turf interaction and how the three clubs react? So go for it.
If you look at the three irons, the Fusion is going to be, the TI Fusion is going to be the smallest sole, smaller face, thinner top line. And if you look at, compared to, this is the 200 that I have, this is the 200 I have in my hand. So it's gonna be slightly smaller than this. Really, it's designed for your better players.
Okay, so the AI 200 has the narrowest sole.
That's Fusion does. Okay. The Fusion is the narrowest.
Okay, now guys, so the TI Fusion, which we don't have in hand, we'll get you a picture of this, has a very narrow sole and it's got the smallest face. So it's the least forgiving club and requires a very significant divot to be made at this club to hit it well. You hit this club thin, it's gonna feel terrible. Yeah. Okay, and it's not going to go. It's a great club, but it's not going to go very good. No. It's a club. So, and I want to say this real quick because in the past, the Fusion irons have been this big, huge forgiving iron, like this massive, unbelievably forgiving iron. That's not this one. They've gone the other end of the spectrum. Yeah. So the basically, if you guys think about it in layman's terms, this Fusion iron's like a blade. I mean, it's not, but it's pretty close. It's a non-forgiving, great feel, but you make a divot, it's an amazing club. It's going to be a rocket ship. It's going to go a long way. Yeah. But it is for we call it the Players Club. It's kind of what they called it.
Players distance.
Players distance, yeah. And then we go into the AI 200.
Yeah, so as a player, if you're looking at which one you want to choose, think of it this way. The Fusion is going to be your better Players Club.
Right.
Your AI 200 is your lower to upper middle handicap one. And then the AI 300 is going to be more of the super game improvement type one. If you want to compare it to the old Apex, this was the Apex. The 300 was the Apex DCB.
Right, guys. So if you're looking for if you take a divot, you're looking for a player's type iron, you want some forgiveness. This is what a majority of the professionals are going to have in their bag right here, or good players, or amateurs, or good players. Is the AI 200. This is it's a players club. It's got it's got good forgiveness. It's got great feel. It's got really good distance. Yeah. If you want a forged club, the ultimate feel club with maximum forgiveness is the AI 300. Yep. And this has got a little wider sole, so if you make minimal to no divot or a little bit of divot and you want a forged type iron, you want that great feel that the players want in their hands, that's the AI 300. And this is the unique, let's be honest. The AI 200 is the new Apex line. It's replacing the Apex from the past couple of years.
Yes.
You know, they put an Apex in about every 2 to 3 years. This is the one, the AI 200 is the one replacing that. So when you watch TV and you watch the players on TV, a majority will have this club in their hand. When you watch high school, college players, a majority will have this one in their hand.
Senior players will have
senior players are going to have this right here, the AI 300. That's going to be the senior players. You don't have to have much turf interaction to hit this great. You can hit it thin and hit this great. It's got a wider sole, it's got a little bit more offset, it's got a little bit more weight on the lower part of the club, but it's got unbelievable feel. Yeah. So James, now you hit these. Now obviously, if you're interested in these things for us, and I know a lot of you guys will be, if you're interested in these, we'll fit you up with length, lie angle, shaft flex, grip size, and we're gonna make sure we get the right shaft weight in there, the right shaft length, and so on. Now you hit these, we actually hit these up in New York, and I've hit these now. I've had this is the AI 200. I've had this in my bag for a little while.
Yeah, you stole that one out of my fitting stuff.
I stole this one.
Much.
Yeah, I took it. Yeah. So tell me what are we thinking? Tell me what you think. So you hit them, so what do you think?
The Fusion is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The TI Fusion is oh my God. The 200, they say it's the Players Distance Club, but it is a phenomenal feeling club.
Yeah, they're really soft.
The feedback on them is tremendous. And when you look down at the 300, we hit the 300 as well. The 300 looks amazing. For a game improvement type forged club, it's amazing. It feels great. It performs well. Right. I mean, they're all phenomenal clubs.
Right.
I love them.
You guys know how this works. At the beginning of the year, Callaway will release their signature line. It's a cast type iron head that's like, this year was the Paradigm Smoke, last year was the Paradigm, the year before was the Rogue, the year before that was the Max. You guys know this. So every first of the year they replace and they will again next January. So before you ask me the question, in 4 months or 5 months from now, they're going to release their new line. It may be this, like
Son of Smoke.
James always says the Son of Smoke. They'll call it something else, but the Son of Paradigm Smoke, okay? They'll release that, and I know a lot of you, hundreds of you will trade in your current clubs for those, and we're good to go. In the middle of the year, every other year, about this time, they release their new forged line, which is the soft, we call it the players type irons. These are the ones that are built for some forgiveness, but more feel in the iron. I mean, a ton of feel in the iron.
Don't get carried away. They put Players Club out there. Right. Don't get carried away saying, oh my God, I have to have a low handicap. No, these are just a forged, very forgiving, playable iron that if you love forged clubs, you'll absolutely adore these things.
So guys, you know, here's the last thing I'll throw in this. We all got the 150% bonus towards this on any clubs you have towards these clubs, okay? These two right here with graphite shafts run about $195 a stick per club. Yep. The AI Fusion is going to be significantly higher. It's just going to be, but the AI, these right here, the AI 200, the AI 300 are going to be $195 a club for you guys with graphite. That's lower than anybody out there. You can buy one club up to however many you want. So if you just want to try one, buy one, try one, we can do it. Yeah. So we can, you know, it's up to you guys. But that was Brent Morris asked me he threw that out there, and I think we covered all his questions. I want to make sure. Yep.
Yeah. And they start shipping tomorrow.
Yeah, they start shipping. They start shipping tomorrow.
Yeah.
Orders are going in right now. Yeah. So yep. So that's so Brent, thank you for that. And then it's perfect. So if you got any more questions on this, email me at timg@greatestgolf.com. We'll rock through these, okay? The next question is, can you have Tim explain the difference and advantages of the Opus versus the Jaws? I noticed the Opus grooves aren't as wide as the Jaws. Does this help us or hurt us golfers of our caliber versus pros? And Danny Henderson asked us this. So I got an Opus wedge here, and I have a Jaws wedge here, okay? And now here's the first thing you're gonna see. Now, this is what's interesting. And I know you can't see them that well on the camera, but the Opus wedge has a little bit wider grooves. Or excuse me, the Jaws wedge has a little wider grooves. The Opus wedge has more grooves. A lot more grooves. So yes, it says wider, but what they did on the Opus is they made a lot more grooves. So in other words, they cut into the head. In fact, it's like 25% more. I don't know the count. We probably should know the count, but we don't. But there's significantly more on the Opus. Yeah, he's gonna start counting here. That's number one. Number two is, the raw wedge is a great wedge. Don't get me wrong, guys. The raw wedge is a phenomenally great wedge. The difference in the Opus was because of the more grooves and the way they cut the grooves, they've showed there's between 10 and 25% more spin with this club. Yes. So there's more spin. I'm not gonna say more feel, but there's more spin, okay? So if you're looking to spin that club with a wedge, of chip shots, pitch shots, bunker shots, the Opus is gonna have more spin. It just is.
You just have more groove interaction.
Just gonna have more groove interaction, that's it. The other thing is, and this is the big thing on the back, and I'll have James talk about this, it's about the way they weighted the sole of this club. You wanna talk about a little bit about that, about how much they put the weight back in the bottom?
Yeah, what they did is, if you look at the back of the old Jaws wedges, you see all these weight ports where they took out some of the weight to sort of balance the club, and they figured out that, well, all the weight's not really in the right spot.
Right.
So when they took the Opus wedge, I'll give you that one here to hold. When they took the Opus wedge, they got rid of the weight ports. Well, what they did is they put the weight behind where we make contact with the golf ball, right behind the center of gravity, so if you, raised up a little bit.
So if you look at this in layman's terms, and James is doing this perfect, is they put the weight more up in the club. It's like it raises higher in the face.
Yeah, so if you were to, here's the fun part. If you were to take this wedge and look on this angle here, the weight actually goes up past groove 5, 6, which are your working grooves on the wedges.
And this
where
one
if you look
goes
at the Jaws rods,
maybe
it's like
3 or 4.
2 or 3.
Yeah, no, actually it's about 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's twice as high.
Yep.
So the weight goes higher up in the back. So meaning that now you can hit out of grass, you can hit out of bunkers, and when that ball's hit in the middle of the club, or maybe middle higher in that club, you still got weight behind it.
Yep.
You don't, because the biggest thing on wedges, guys, if you make a little divot or any type of divot, or you hit out of a bunker, you take a minimal divot, wedges, as long as we get the right grind in there, we're great. But what happens is you get in some high grass, you get some fluffy sand, and all of a sudden you hit higher in that face. Well, you start hitting higher in that face, you start losing distance, and it's very hard to calculate for that. Even when you had the full toe wedges and stuff, you still lost distance. Well, now they're raising that weight in the back, raising it up in the club so that you the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th groove up still has some good weight behind it.
Yes.
And that's the biggest difference. And that's why they have the increased spin. Because when you have weight behind the 6th groove and the 5th groove, you're going to have more spin than if you don't have that weight behind there. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, putting the weight up high like they did with the full toe,
it's good.
It's great, but it doesn't do the same effect on the amount of loss you hit from
guys, they're using
the face.
Long story made short, they're using AI technology in the wedges. They're trying to increase the spin, they're trying to increase the feel and playability, and increase the size of the sweet spot. That's the key. Because nobody hits a denser than the sweet spot except for maybe Mo. But no, nobody hits it. And people hit it up and down the wedges. Guys, go hit a shot. That's why every time you see a pro hit a shot, they look at the face of the wedge. They're looking at where they hit it. They may hit it low, they may hit it high, they may hit it in the middle, they may hit it. It moves all over the face. They can always hit towards the center. Obviously, they're really good players, but it moves up and down the face depending on how thick the grass is or how thin the grass is. That's very hard to predict. It's impossible to predict. But if you got weight behind it, you can still get the distance and spin you expected. Okay? So, any other questions? Anything else you want to throw up clubs? Anything else? I mean, I know, go ahead and anything else because we'll start walking into some swing questions now. So,
we're getting a lot of questions on trade and trade up.
Okay.
How long it's taking. Right now, it's around 45 days. So if you sent your clubs in, add a week for the travel time for the clubs to get to Callaway, and then it's about 45 days before they'll send the refund back to us, and then we've got to get it back out to all the members.
Right.
So they're running around 45 days. It had been up as far as 60 days, just because of the beginning of the year and just began inundated with all of the club returns from the pros, from all the demo day equipment, you know, everybody trading in. And we've been so busy with trade and trade up. I'm surprised it hasn't stayed at 60 days.
But guys, for you guys, just remember, members always have this, unless things change in the future, which I don't think they will. We will go to battle for you guys in this. You will always have at least 150% trade-in. Sometimes we can get double, middle of the year, right, 150% or year round. And you can always trade in multiple clubs for a single club. Remember that. So if you want to buy a driver, you can trade in a couple of clubs for it. If you want to buy, a driver and a fairwood, you can trade in 3 or 4 clubs for it. Callaway rules for everybody else allows a 1-for-1 trade, and this doesn't have the 150%. So for you guys, that's a membership perk right there for you guys out there, okay? And then obviously, and for the VIP members, level 5 members, you get clubs basically at cost. So there's other perks within your membership. But guys, email me, timg@graysgolf.com. I'll take care of you guys. I'll send you James' way if we've got to. We'll get you taken care of, okay? We good?
We're good.
Thanks, bud. All right.